I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kira.
And we are the Keepers of the Books, your online librarians. And we have some book reviews today, ranging from early chapter books, and Star Wars early chapter books at that, all the way through adult. Star Wars Adventures in Wild Space, The Cold. This is by Tom Hiddleston. And this is book 5 in this series. Milo and Lena Graff are still searching for their kidnapped parents. This one starts with an ambush in space and being chased and escaping, and crashing, trapped, stranded, in trouble, and separated on a desolate ice planet. Basically, they have to figure out how to get out of this situation, and there are stormtroopers and an evil enemy that we have seen in a previous book. Now Lena must decide who to trust and how to save her brother. And together they must figure out how to get off of this planet and return to finding their parents who have been kidnapped. That is the adventure in this book. It is an early chapter book for grades 2 through about 5. Book 6 is called The Rescue. This is a review book from Disney and LucasFilms Press. Daring Adventures Volume 2 by Emma Carlson Byrne, which is a review copy from Disney and LucasFilms Press. I'm going to say it's for grades 2 through 5. This has 3 short stories in it. Those follow Jin, Ahsoka, and Princess Leia. And this is the story of 3 events where each of them, one each, decide to be a hero, and what goes into those decisions, and what they must put aside of their own priorities in order to do that. For Ahsoka, Anakin and Yoda are waiting for her in the temple for a very important event. And she is running late. There's an Alina woman who is in need of help. Is she going to choose to be on time for this very important event, or is she going to help this woman? For Leia, Chewie is missing and he is late. Where could he be? Can she find him? And what is going on? So in this one, is she going to find him and help him? Or is this just a little too dangerous for a princess to do? Jin is on her own. She needs to avoid the stormtroopers. That could end everything for her. She has some forged documents for a contract, a very valuable, high-paying contract. She needs to deliver the documents, get the credits, but there is a little girl who is being targeted by stormtroopers for having a Tuca cat, her little pet. And what will Jin do? Will she help and rescue this little girl, or is she going to look after her own safety and financial well-being? This is a fun book, and for girls and guys, but I like that the Star Wars book really seems aimed at girls. Just because they don't get quite as much of the Star Wars world. That's really girly. I like that it talks about being a hero because we've got the Wonder Woman thing going on. I like girls choosing to be strong.
Girls Think of Everything by Catherine Thimish and Melissa Sweet. So if you ever wondered who created the chocolate chip cookie or how it got invented by Toll House? Ever wondered how Kevlar was invented?
Kevlar was a girl, huh?
Yeah. These are all inventions that girls have invented over the years. Pretty cool, huh? Yep. And it's also not just their inventions, but the struggles and challenges they encountered trying to get into the invention world.
Male-dominated industry.
Very much so. I love how this book is laid out. It's very easy to follow. Each chapter is a different person who's invented something. And it was just some really amazing stories on things I didn't realize other girls had created and thought of. If you like books about inventions, science, and tough girls, you'll want to pick this one up. Girls Think of Everything.
Sounds like a great STEM book.
I would agree.
Journey Across the Hidden Islands by Sarah Beth Durst. This book is absolutely fantastic. If you liked Unwanteds, Harry Potter, you like that magical adventure, this is a great book. It's a review copy from Clarion Books along with Kiss the Book, kissthebook.blogspot.com. This is about 2 sisters and twin sisters. Sika is being trained as the princess and ruler. She's been separated from her sister Ji Lin, who has been sent to the school to be a warrior. And she gets the winged lion, talking flying lion. His name is Alajon.
That reminds me of a particular dragon from Neverending Story.
You know what? This would be a good book for fans of Neverending Story. Ji Lin's training is supposed to go longer. It really isn't going so perfectly. Alajon and her are doing good, but not as well as expected in order to graduate. But after a not so great performance on a test, she graduates early and is sent home to the palace, where she finds Princess Sika. So now they must go together and meet this dragon to renew the deal with this dragon, the bargain that's keeping the entire kingdom safe. This all follows a lot of very ancient rituals and procedures that must be done exactly. Tradition is very important in this culture. They're sent on this journey very, very suddenly and early because Their islands keep having earthquakes caused by monsters shaking the earth, and they run into a lot of trouble along the way. Things definitely are not going according to tradition or the way they're supposed to go. And I guess the question underlying this book is, are the old ways the best ways? Why is all this tradition so incredibly important? This is a fun story of two sisters who are trained very differently, even though they're from the same family, yet they're trained the same in many other ways. So it's very interesting to see the difference between them and how they've been raised. Really good book. Again, if you like unwanteds, this is a great place to go.
Mustaches Romani by Chad Morris and Shelley Brown. Shelley Brown and Chad Morris are husband and wife, and this is based off the true story of their daughter Maddie, who when she was younger had a brain tumor. And she really liked mustaches. So while she's going through the scariness of having this brain surgery, people start giving her pictures of mustaches to cheer her up. There is one girl in her class, however, that doesn't believe her and spreads rumors that she's just faking it all. This book was pretty funny. It had a lot of humor to kind of lighten up the book a little bit. Plus, it's also in the true nature of their daughter, Maddie. She's a very funny girl. And
the parents. The parents
are hilarious.
They were both part of a comedy troupe in college.
Yes.
Along with Brandon Mole.
So this is great for those who want a little bit book that deals with a little bit more serious topic, but want the humor to go with it.
Would you pair this one with Wonder?
I would definitely pair this one with Wonder and things like Stargirl.
Oh yeah, that would be a good read to like too.
And so it's great because you have the realistic fiction part where she's dealing with the bullying and the problems she's having at school, but also dealing with the scary thing that's going on in her life and how all these mustaches inspire her. And so it inspires those who read it to develop compassion and action. This is a review copy from Shadow Mountain.
Once Upon a Time, Red's Untold Tale by Wendy Tolliver. This is a review copy from Kingswell Teen. It's Wolf's Time. And in Wolf's Time, it's kind of the full moon. It's when everybody has to pretty much protect themselves at night, lock themselves in their house, because that's when the wolves come out. It's Little Red Riding Hood, so you know how the wolves play in. Anyways, on Red's 13th birthday, her grandmother gives her a red cloak. This cloak has a magic spell put upon it that is supposed to protect Red from the wolves. But magic has consequences, deep consequences. Red is now 16. She doesn't fit in, but she has a crush on Peter. Red's grandma is a baker, but her baking business is not going so well, and Red is kind of hiding that from her, kind of boosting it up on the side, making it look like she's actually selling these goods for her grandma. And Peter, it's his birthday, he wants to have a party, and Red wants to make him a cake, but she can't bake. But she tries to make the cake anyways. It does not taste like grandma's. She is definitely bullied when it comes to this cake and by these girls in school. The youth in the village are skeptical of superstition, crazy grandma of Red's, and just everything to do with the whole Wolf's Time thing. They think they're going to be safe no matter what they do. Red has to make some choices. Are her choices, what is she going to choose? How are these going to affect her and her grandma? In this story, of course, she has to learn her relationship with magic. This was a fun, fast read. It was really good for those who like Once Upon a Time, or for those who like new takes on the fairy tales, and this one's obviously Red Riding Hood. Great book. Wendy Tolliver's a great author. Yep, grades 7 and up or ages 12 and up.
Phasma by Delilah S. Dawson, narrated by January LaFoy. In this book, it's in the Star Wars world. Vi Maradi is a rebel, and she's captured by the Cardinal. Thinking this is just going to be her average interrogation, she's really surprised to find that he only wants to know about Captain Phasma and how he can bring her down. So in order to get out of this sticky situation, Vi decides to tell the story of Captain Phasma. But at the same time, the listener is wondering, how does Vi know so much about Captain Phasma? After all, Captain Phasma is a very mysterious person that not many people know much about. So if you like a little bit of mystery, you like origin stories, you love Star Wars, you'll want to pick up Phasma by Delilah S. Dawson. So the narrator, January LaFoy, does such a great job. I love this book because you have sound effects, and she does different voices and makes them each sound different depending on whether they're through a mask. She first meets the Cardinal, or when he takes off his mask. And times where you have electronic communications, you have the droid talking, they're all different sound effects, and it is an awesome narration. The story was great. The narration was impeccably done, and definitely a must listen. I don't think I could have read this book now after having listened to it because the audio has spoiled me for the book because it was fantastic. I would recommend this for grades 7 and up or ages 12 and up. This is a review book from Penguin Random House. Blueberry Pancakes Forever by Angelica Banks. This is book 3 in the series, but you can read this one without reading the first 2. Serendipity Small's dad has passed away, and the whole story world where Vivian lives has frozen. And the problem is, if the author doesn't write the book, the storybook world cannot move on. Vivian decides on her end to try and figure out how to bring back the author. After all, there's some bad guys who are getting a little restless and are ready to destroy the story if she doesn't bring back Serendipity. Serendipity, in the meantime, is trying to deal with the problems with her father's death, and they're living on a remote island, and all these people are expecting more in the story of Vivian, and they're not getting it, and things are getting heated up in the real world too. Can Serendipity find the power within her to get over her grief and finish writing the story? What's Vivian going to do to get her to come back? Fun adventure, full of fantasy. I would recommend this for grades 4 through 7 or ages 9 to 12. This is a review copy from Henry Holt and Company and Kiss the Book.
The Forgetting by Sharon Cameron. This book has been out for a little bit. Our main character is Nadia, and she lives in Canaan. In this society, something happens where they forget everything every 12 years. So they have these books attached to them, and they have to write in their books every day. They have to write the truth in their books because this is all they will remember after the forgetting. They have to write who their family, their children, their spouse, Nadia's sister is really mean. She says, "You can't be our sister. You must have been mixed up in the loss." The thing is, Nadia has a secret that nobody knows. She doesn't forget. She's immune to the forgetting. So she actually remembers. She knows why her mom is not well, and her mom is really not well mentally. If you lose your book, you're lost. She knows that she's friends with Gray, and she really likes Gray. Gray is the glassblower's son. Her sister's a bit jealous of this. She starts to go beyond the walls. They're not supposed to go beyond the walls. They're being protected in the city. And she decides to take Gray with her. This story develops a little slow, kind of the psychological thriller type theme, but in a fantasy sci-fi book. You're not sure which one while you're reading it, and until you get to closer to the end, and I'm not going to tell you which one it is, because it actually does fit both genres to a point. You have the mystery, and you need to know you're about as in the dark as the characters. The only person who knows is Nadia, and you're in the same situation as the rest of the people in Canaan. The thing is, Nadia was born there, and so she doesn't know the entire truth of what happened. She wants to find out the full truth. She needs to stop this enemy of the city and save the people in her town. She wants to know what's outside the walls, what came before her, and how this plays into their history. What is really going on? This is a great book for grades 7 and up or ages 12 and up. And the sequel is called The Knowing, which I haven't read yet.
The Secrets of Solace by J. Lee Johnson. In this book, Lena Winterblock is an apprentice to the archivist. Now, in this world, it's very much a treasured, coveted job to be an apprentice to the archivist. But really, the archivist just chose her because he wants to keep her under her thumb because she's nothing but trouble. Especially after the first book, which we won't go into. And while she's in this apprenticeship, she discovers, half buried under the town, an airship. And this is a world where airships are not really accepted very well. The king has been thinking of bringing him back, but because he's gotten so much backlash from other people about it, it hasn't happened yet. And she doesn't really know this. It's kind of going along on the sidelines. And she decides she's going to rebuild this airship. The archivists aren't so thrilled with this whole plan. What will happen? You'll have to find out. It's a fun fantasy adventure full of mystery. What is this airship? Why is it buried? And why doesn't the town want anybody to find out what it is?
Steampunk.
Steampunk for sure. Grades 7 and up or ages 12 and up.
The T-Girl of Hummingbird Lane by Lisa C. This is definitely an adult book, although if you don't mind your child reading a little more mature content, this is probably a book not a lot of them will get through, but some sophisticated readers will really enjoy this. This one is literary fiction, and it is very well researched. The author talks about her research in the back of the book, which I really appreciate. So Leon is the most educated person in her village, which is this remote Chinese mountain village that lives off of tea. Her mother is the healer of the community, the midwife, and this is about the Aka people. They are very superstitious, and overall not well educated, although she is going to school and she's doing very, very well. At one point, since she's the one who speaks English in her community in addition to her native language, since she's the one who can communicate with this stranger who shows up in the first vehicle they've ever seen, which is a Jeep, she is given the job of communicating with him. So Leon goes up to this man with the men in her village and communicates with him, and he's looking for pu'er tea. It's also pronounced pura. It just depends what region you're talking about. And this is an aged tea in a cake. So she translates between her people and him and sets up this deal, a very lucrative deal. They become very good friends with this family and vice versa. It is heartbreaking in the beginning to see some of the traditions and how people are treated, like if a baby dies and how they can be outcast. For a community that is so, well, they're expected to be physically active as teenagers and not physically as an exercise. It's sad to see that if a girl is pregnant and does not marry the man, that she is cast out with no future, no community, nothing. Leon is in love with this boy from school. People say stay away, he's a troublemaker, but she doesn't see it. She's desperately in love with him, and they go to the forest. When he leaves, he doesn't know she's pregnant, and she doesn't know she's pregnant. And he leaves, and he goes, he's going to get a job, he's going to come back with money and marry her and prove that he can take care of her. Because her family keeps saying, no, you cannot be with him. But they're determined to be together. Her mother takes care of her. She does realize she's pregnant, although she is trying to hide it. Her mother secretly helps her to give birth to the baby and to escape and put it up for adoption, which is illegal in China at the time. So the story starts in 1988 and it goes to the present. And will he ever come back for her? Is he really trouble? What is the story? And will they ever see their little girl again? When the baby is adopted, it is taken to California. And her name is Haley. This other part of the story is Haley's side and how she is struggling. She wants to find her parents and her culture. She doesn't quite feel like she belongs. She's like here, but she's in California. She has this great abundant life, but the only clue she's been left with is this pu'er cake of tea. And it's a rare label. Nobody really knows where it's from. And she decides to investigate this tea. This is the touching, heartwarming, amazing story of both of these women and their trials and struggles and what they go through. And you want to know if they're ever going to get together. You just keep finding yourself rooting for the characters, and I cried twice. Amazing book. I loved it. And this is one of those books that make you a better person for reading it, and it really made me think. And so, fantastic book. It does contain some mature content and language, so just so you know. Those are our reviews for this week. Thank you for watching. If you liked any of them, want to read them, or just enjoyed watching, please give us the thumbs up. If you like, comment, and subscribe, other people will hear about great book reviews. Please share in the comments any book that you want to read or what you're reading right now. Or if you want some suggestions on what to read. Give us somewhere to start though, with stuff you like. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.